Hey everybody, Spidey Librarian here, and today I am coming at you to talk a little bit about the news that apparently the initial reactions to the Morbius film that's due out from Sony on April 1st is not very good. Give me just a second. I'm going to go ahead and mute the ambient music, so to speak. And we're gonna just take a little bit of time to talk about this. Now, as a Spider-Man fan, I am never happy to hear that a Spider-Man or a Spider-Man adjacent movie is not sitting well. Um, it's just I'm of the opinion that a rising tide, elevates all ships. And even though Morbius has never been my favorite Spider Man villain character, and I don't quite understand why they would go and make a movie about Morbius, but they went ahead and made it. And so I want it to be as successful as it can be. And that just does not seem to be what's happening at this point. So let's just go ahead and get started. I got the news today from an article on the Direct, and let me see. I'm just going to pull it up real quick and I'll share it with you guys. And basically, it was here we go. It's right here, and God, is it bright! All right. So what I'm gonna do is I think we're gonna go ahead and do a. I could create a new scene, but I think I'll just put it in the window capture. Give me 1 second. All right, and there we go. So you guys should be able to see that right there. So basically, oh God. Sorry, let me get over here. All right. So basically, the Direct reported that several critics on Twitter who have seen the movie ahead of time for review purposes have not had very nice things to say about it. And essentially, while this is, again, as a Spider fan, it's kind of disappointing. It's not surprising either. I mean, this was a movie that was originally supposed to be out a long time ago. I think it actually did not break like the record that the New Mutants was holding for like the length of time that it got delayed from its original release date. So, anyways, let's just go ahead. I'll read this off because it doesn't look like it's very easy to see. I wonder if there's a way. No, it's not going to let me. Okay. All right, so I'll go ahead and just read this. After beating the New Mutants delay with record with 6 release date shifts. Okay, all right. Morbius has grown into something of a joke within the Marvel fandom. Jared Leto's vampire will soon become the second anti-hero in Sony's Spider-Man spin-off universe, and audiences couldn't be less enthusiastic. Social media interest remains low, and trailer reactions appear to be lukewarm at best. And I mean, to be fair, like some of the later trailers were better than the initial one. The initial one was just kind of like, all right, it exists, I guess. But basically, I felt like they were getting a little bit better, but apparently it does not hold up well. So, continuing. But after the chaotic thrill ride of Spider-Man No Way Home and the shocking multiversal connections from Venom Let There Be Carnage, some remain eager to see what secrets Morbius may hold for fans. I'm not going to lie, I'm one of those people. Like, even if this movie ends up being terrible, I'm going to want to see like what Easter eggs they're using and what little connections they might be trying to make with the MCU or just the multiverse in general. And I mean, I'll even take a connection to Into the Spider-Verse at this point. The trailers have already revealed the surprise inclusion of Michael Keaton's Vulture. Okay, spoiler, that's not a surprise. But many remain optimistic for a Spider-Man appearance from Tom Holland, Andrew Garfield, or Tobey Maguire. Not gonna lie, that could happen. I'm not betting on it, but you know, I've been wrong before. But based on early review rumors, it appears Morbius may not deliver on the years of waiting, as evidence points to a boring and inconsistent mess from Sony. Anyways, the article goes on to just talk about reactions from some people who have already seen the movie, including Geeks Worldwide editor Brandon Matthews, who, let's see, he reports that several journalists who have already seen the film for press purposes describe it as boring and uncalculated with no consistency. And here's a quote. Heard from several journalists who've seen the film already, junket purposes, that it's boring and uncalculated, no consistency, except that it's bad. Let's see. Some of the insiders say that it does have some positive with the occasional good moment. Good moments here and there, 2 to 3 Easter eggs. Otherwise, just watch it when it gets home. Now, we know that I'm not going to do that. I'm still planning to go see this movie with some friends, and, you know, I mean, maybe we'll just make fun of it afterwards. So, it's not like we haven't done that before either, you know? So, and so it asks the question, is Morbius good or bad? Now, I'm not going to read all of this, but let's just say that so far the outlook does not appear to be great. And again, I can't claim to be surprised. I am going to shrink this because there we go. And I need to work on some form of viewing window there. All right. Anyways, it doesn't look great. I'm not surprised, and I think it's a good idea to just kind of talk about why that may be the case. So again, people are saying that it's got good moments. Rotten Tomatoes. Okay, there's no score. That's the Venom score. Venom has a 30% rating, which I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of surprising. My issues with the Venom movie aside, it doesn't have Spider-Man in it, and Spider-Man is seminal to Venom's origin, and I will die on this hill. It's still not a bad movie. It's got action, it's fun, it's funny, but you know, it just shouldn't be called Venom. Anyways, but yeah, the so far it looks like it may not be great. Now I could be wrong. This might be a great movie. These critics may not know what they're talking about. I might go in there and be like, okay, I like this. I don't know what you guys are thinking. This was a good movie. But I also might not. And I generally think that critics have a pretty good handle on what is good and what's not. Now, it's not to say that they can't be wrong, but at least the sources that I tend to put a lot of faith in, they usually are pretty good at saying, yeah, this was good, and I agree with them, or no, this kind of sucked, and you know, I tend to agree with them there too. So, anyways, let's see, Morbius hits theaters on April 30 or on April 1st, 2022. And if it is as bad as rumors indicate, then it will be the perfect April Fool's Day prank from Sony. Wow. Yikes, yikes, yikes. So there is not a lot of good feelings going into this particular, excuse me, not a lot of good feelings going into this particular movie right now. So, hey, Mournhold, how you doing? Sorry, I needed to use the browser window for the view here, but how you doing, man? Good to see you. Anyways, so let's go find that tweet real quick. Let me see if I can find it. It looks like it's linked in the article, so I'm just gonna go check it out. Okay, so this is the tweet from Brandon Matthews, and it's basically what I already read. I read it in the quote. So let me go ahead and bring that up. There we go. And again, this is just terrible for viewing. Okay, I'll read the tweet. This is from Brandon Matthews. Heard from several journalists who've seen the film already, junket purposes, that it's boring and uncalculated, no consistency except that it's bad. Good moment here and there, and 2 to 3 Easter eggs, but otherwise, just watch it when it gets home. Yikes. So, and again, this is from the editor-in-chief of the Geeks Worldwide. There we go. And there are, of course, plenty of snarky responses. Sounds about right for a Sony project. You know, okay, and this is just other tweets. So, but yeah, people definitely have their opinions about this, and I can't fault them too much at this point. So, anyways, no, Morbius is not out yet. Morbius comes out on April 1st. This is basically in response to reviews from critics who have already seen the movie early for junket purposes. And right now, it seems the initial impressions are that it's not so good. It's kind of one of those, yeah, this apparently got made. I'm just gonna, So, anyways, I think this bears discussion, guys. I think this bears discussion because I think there are some unfortunate but also understandable reasons that this movie is not getting a great start, buzz wise. And I think they're worth talking about. I see that Mournhold has already talked about or mentioned the Leto curse, the Jared Leto curse, which I think is a factor. I don't know much about Jared Leto, but the few things that I've ever seen him in, I'm not that impressed with it. And apparently, hold on a second. Okay, and apparently my stream is not healthy. I don't understand why. Hold on. All right, let's just get this stupid error message out of here. Okay, it doesn't want to go away. That's just wonderful. Let me go ahead and just take a look at OBS. It says it's not getting enough frames per second. I don't understand why. My internet is good, so yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna hold off for a second because if I lose, for all I know, I could be losing internet. So we'll see. Give me just a second. If anyone can give me any indication that they can still hear me or see me, let me know, because apparently I'm experiencing one of those moments where it just doesn't want to work. So, hey, Reaper Dragon, how you doing, man? How are you this evening? Talking a little bit about the Morbius film. Critics who have already seen it have said that it's not doing so well. It doesn't look good. So we're going to talk about it in just a second. But I'm having a little bit of an issue. It says that my stream is not healthy. How is the connection? Is it okay? Let me know, because I've just got a janky message from YouTube, and my color code from OBS is kind of traversing between orange and yellow, and I don't understand why. So still going live? Okay, well then we're going to just keep going. So, all right. So a couple of things. So first of all, what are some of the reasons that Morbius may not be doing so well? All right. Well, I'm not gonna lie, I don't think Morbius is a very compelling character. Um, I understand on paper why Morbius might appeal to a movie executive. He's a vampire, even if he's a living vampire, which is still one of the weirdest things that I've ever had to read about, even from a Spider-Man foe, which you know that they're already a little bit weird. Okay. Um, but yeah, I've never been that interested in Morbius. I've read a couple of stories involving him and Spider-Man, and aside from being perpetually bogged down by the idea that even when he's trying to do good, Spider-Man still never trusts Morbius and has, issues with him on that level. Then we have then we just have the idea that he is the living vampire, which again is a phrase that I just find to be so wonky and crazy. And what the hell even is that? And why do I even care? A vampire is supposed to be undead, but apparently Morbius has never died, but he still has to drink blood. And why? And it's just he's one of those villains that on paper I'm just kind of going, what were they thinking when they came up with this guy? All right. So, I mean, that's one point right there. Morbius, to me at least, not a very compelling Spider-Man foe. Not a very compelling character at all. So, um, number two, Mournhold just mentioned the Leto curse, the Jared Leto curse. All right, let's talk about Jared Leto for a second here. All right, I don't really know all that much of his work. I'm not very familiar with him. I know he's famous. I know that the guy is, I don't know, he's a musician. He is an actor. He's apparently a very successful tech investor. Whatever. And good for him. I am all for, hey, live your best life, do the things you want to do. I support that totally. But I've only ever seen Jared Leto. I saw him in the Suicide Squad. That's the only thing I've seen him in as the Joker. And he was a janky Joker, which is a weird thing to say. But I don't think Jared Leto is particularly. He doesn't strike me as being very professional. He does not strike me as being. Wow, hold on. We are losing frames again. What is going on? All right. Can anybody hear me? Because apparently YouTube does not want to. Hold on. My apologies, everybody. Apparently, my internet is janky, or YouTube is janky, or OBS is janky, and I'm not sure which it is. But at present, all I can do is just kind of stick around. So I'm going to take a second, and I'm just going to hit the reload button on my streaming stage and just see what happens. And apparently I am transmitting less than, I was transmitting less than 2,500 kilobytes per second. So I'm not sure what's going on. All right. Okay. Your stream died for a minute, but I'm live again. Yeah. I mean, we're having some weather here, but I don't think that should be an issue. So I'm not sure what's going on. I think some of Jared Leto's better work is from his earlier days, like Lord of War with Nicolas Cage. See, and I'm not familiar enough with Jared Leto. I probably can't give a very knowledgeful assessment of Jared Leto. I just remember hearing about his antics during the Suicide Squad, and how his Joker to me was terrible. It was just, I didn't like it at all. Okay. So I think that's a second thing that is bringing Morbius down. For some reason, your feed is 7 minutes behind. Oh my God, Wolf, I'm so sorry, man. And you're probably not going to get this for 7 minutes. I am so sorry. I mean, I chose a low latency, so Close it and reopen it. Okay. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and stop the stream and okay. All right. I am bringing it back up, and apparently it's fine now. So I don't know what is going on. All right. Okay. So if anyone can see me, if anyone can hear me right now, after I was told to, okay, now that after I was told to close and reopening, oh, Reaper meant that message for Wolf and probably not me. Okay. So tell me how I look, tell me how I sound, because this is driving me a little bit crazy tonight. So not gonna lie, guys. This has been a difficult stream. Simply, sometimes my internet just sucks, you know. So, in any case, thank you to those of you who are sticking with me through this. I really do appreciate it. And if you are so inclined, if you are enjoying this despite the technical difficulties, please go ahead and thwip the like button. It really helps me out, and I always appreciate it. All right. So we've got two of the reasons that Morbius, not off to a great start. Okay, and let's talk about the third reason. This was also addressed in the direct article. So, do you guys remember when the first trailer for Morbius came out? Because I think it came out like in 2020 or maybe early 2021. Do you guys remember? Because I barely do. Like, I remember when they started pushing the trailers again for Morbius. I think in late 2021, and I was like, oh my god, I forgot. Like, I was like, oh yeah, this is a movie that's coming out. I think it had been over a year, and it was just like, what is going on here? Why was there such a lull? Well, it's because it kept getting pushed back, and the marketing kept getting delayed, and all this other stuff kept happening. And yeah, I'm just kind of like, wow, this is just weird. So, all right. And yet again, having more I'm having more issues with the feed. Hold on, gonna try it again. Okay. All right. I think we're okay. Yeah, I'm getting buffering, and I'm getting janky messages from my OBS, which is weird. Let's see. It says, okay, the transmission levels are going up and down. It's really crazy. So, again, I apologize for the issues, guys. I don't understand what's going on. So, yeah, I tried reloading it too, and it looks like it's okay now, but I'm just like, I've stopped the stream and then restarted it in OBS. So maybe I'm not resetting the internet. That cannot happen. I've got other people in the house that are using internet. That is a non-starter. This is just, it's one of these things. I don't think personally it's any of my settings. I think occasionally, I honestly think that who do we use? I think we use Comcast. Who's the other provider? Certainly not AT&T. Anyways, I think Comcast occasionally just craps out. So, anyways, we're just going to Sony's trying to stop this broadcast. Nice one, Wolf. I like that. Okay. Let's trudge on here. So essentially, the third reason is essentially marketing lag. Sony had some marketing out for this a year and a half ago, and then they just stopped doing any marketing for it. They kept pushing it back. They kept delaying it. the pandemic happened, stuff like that. But basically, the huge marketing delay did not do the movie any favors, and we just kind of lost out. So, um, Sony CEOs doing the Kevin Feige thing and sniping spoiler streams. Do they even do that? I mean, like, this isn't a spoiler stream. I'm not talking about any plot points of the movie, so I don't know. Maybe they are. Maybe I should be flattered, but I'm just annoyed right now. Like, I'm basically trying to stream to like the 2, 3 people who will even listen to me about this stuff. And I can't even do that because, okay, all right. Right now my internet is okay, or so it says. So hopefully we're just gonna, be okay. So, fourth, I'm just gonna list it by itself. The pandemic. The pandemic put the quash on a whole lot of movies. A lot of movies got delayed. A lot of movies, I mean, I would imagine some got canceled. Not any high profile ones that I know of. But the pandemic was such a major kind of paradigm shift in how we live our lives that movie going was one of the biggest casualties for a while. Now, I am trying to do my part and get out to movies that are kind of large tentpole movies. I'll wear a mask and make myself look pretty, but I'm all vaccinated and everything. I'm trying to make sure that that I still see the movies that I want to see and hopefully help the movie industry. But pandemic, not so hot for movies. So, and then here's the final, the number 5 reason that I don't think this movie is off to a great start. Sony has never really been sure what to do with Spider-Man movies. They haven't known what to do with Spider-Man characters. They haven't been good at this for years. Now, I'm not going to lie, they will occasionally do, they'll knock it out of the park. They'll go ahead and they'll do something like Into the Spider-Verse. I'll even say that Amazing Spider-Man was okay. All right, that's not a slight on Andrew Garfield, by the way. He was a good actor doing what he could with what little he had, So, anyways, but yeah, I don't think Sony has ever had a strong idea of what to do with Spider-Man or his characters. I feel like they gave Sam Raimi control of the movies that he did, and Sam Raimi is the reason that the Tobey Maguire films are as successful as they are. Mark Webb, I have no idea who he is, other than he directed Amazing Spider-Man and Amazing Spider-Man 2. I don't know anything else he's done. And I think that was just more of a Sony project. And they just basically showed that, aside from doing a couple of different riffs on the character's origin and intro, they just didn't know what to do. They're like, okay, all right, we're going to build a Sinister Six universe. So make sure that we show Vulture's harness and Doc Ock's arms and all these things in the background and just make it clear that, like, this is going to happen. And it's like, guys, this is not how you do a Spider-Man story. You don't do a Spider-Man story and sacrifice your storytelling in service to trying to make a Sinister Six film, which of course fell through. Venom. I'm sorry, I'm always going to have issues with that movie. It's not a bad movie. I just don't think it should be called Venom. And since it's called Venom, people have issues with it, including me. And I mean, if you take a look, apparently, according to that Direct article that I was reading from earlier, Venom has a 30% Rotten Tomatoes score, which is just like, wow, okay. I have my issues with it. I don't know that it's 30% bad, but apparently a lot of people think so. So I would point out that's probably a critic score. I bet the audiences have a much, much higher score. So anyways, I feel like that syndrome that Sony doesn't know what to do with Spider-Man characters is carrying over to Morbius. I don't think they know what to do with him. I think they took this character who, again, looked decent to them on paper. Oh, vampire, and we're like, hey, we can put him in the Spider-Man universe. We can, we can say that, Spider-Man is lurking in the background. And I mean, they've been talking about, there is a Spider-Man in this universe, but we don't know if it'll show up in this movie or what have you. And I'm just like, I I'm not so sure that I care right now. I want to know more about this character that the movie is supposed to be about. And I just haven't seen much. I haven't seen much in the way of compelling scenarios, compelling story for Michael Morbius. The most interesting thing that I've seen so far is when they put Michael Keaton's Vulture in there, and it's like, is this even really the Vulture? Is this? I mean, like, it's probably going to be Michael Keaton is Adrian Toomes, but it's also going to be like, okay, but is this guy the Vulture? I don't think he is. Like, I really think that this is Adrian Toomes, but a completely different version of him who is probably not even a supervillain. And I honestly hope for their sake that that's what they're doing. Not because I think I don't, I mean, I think that if you made him into the Vulture, I don't know, it's like too desperate a reach for the MCU, in my personal opinion. Okay. All right. Let's let's talk about what this might mean though for not only this movie but for just Sony Spider-Man movies in particular, the Spider-Man character ever appearing in any of these movies. Like, let's just go ahead and talk about that because I think there are some interesting things to talk about. So Wolf just asked, can Sony? He didn't just ask. I'm just now getting to the chat. Can Sony build a comic book universe without Spider-Man? Morbius is such a loosely connected character. Ding 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 ding. Yes, you are absolutely correct. It's a good question, and honestly, if they really tried to just build a comic book universe without Spider-Man, like, I wouldn't necessarily be opposed to that. They could do Morbius and Black Cat and Silver Sable and Craven the Hunter and Venom and Scorpion. I don't know, like, they could just take all of these loosely connected characters. They could just say, all right, like, we can just imply that Spider-Man is somewhere in here, but we're not going to see him except for maybe at very specific kind of key points or something. I think that'd actually be pretty bold. I think that would be a pretty interesting move, and I don't necessarily have a problem with it, but there's no indication that they're even really trying at this point. So I don't know. Maybe maybe I'll get out to see this movie and I'll be like, I don't know what those critics were thinking. This is brilliant. But I don't know. Right now, I'm just kind of like not surprised by what I've heard and what I've seen about it. Reaper Dragon asks, maybe the acting or the cast for the movie got pushed back too many times. Also, yeah, all those things. Like, that's just this. This is a movie that has suffered from a lot of bad breaks. But I think Reaper Dragon also said earlier, at least I think it was is Reaper Dragon, that story is everything. Yeah, if you've got a good story, it's gonna be like, a good story and a well acted story. It's gonna make a difference. And so far, what I'm seeing so far is that people are just like, yeah, no, it's not. And that's sad. That's really sad to me. So the symbiote look from Raimi's Spider-Man 3 is badass in his opinion, in Reaper Dragon's opinion. That ending scene where Peter pulled Eddie away from the symbiote, the colossal monstrosity that, yeah, no, the symbiote has always been pretty cool looking. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I have my issues with Spider-Man 3. I still don't understand why so many people seem to hate it. But I think it's decent. It's got a few issues, and I think I think Topher Grace playing Eddie Brock is just I'm sorry, I'm always going to have an issue with that. This guy, really? Him? Whatever. Anyways, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think that I don't think this heralds good things for the, what do they call it? The Sony Pictures universe of uh Marvel comics or something, Marvel characters. Sony Pictures universe of Marvel characters. The acronym is SPUMC or something, which is just terrible if you take that out of context. SPUMC. Terrible, terrible. It just sounds terrible. They should just call it, Sony Universe Marvel, like that's just easy. So, but anyways, I mean, like that to me is just another indication that they just don't know what to do with this kind of family of characters. And without the help of like Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios, or without the help of the brilliant creative team that made Into the Spider-Verse, or without just giving the reins over to a seasoned, experienced, awesome director like Sam Raimi, Sony doesn't know what to do with Spider-Man. They don't know what to do with Spider-Man characters, and they just don't really seem to care, in my opinion. I think this is kind of, for me, it's the absolute definition of a studio coming in going, oh, Spider-Man, oh, good, we get to play with this toy. We're never giving it back to Marvel. We might lend it to them because we're not making any money now because we don't know what to do with it. But we're keeping him and all these characters, and we're going to make all these movies. And then they're just like, they don't understand the characters. They don't, I wouldn't be surprised if they made a Black Cat movie. They have no idea what Felicia Hardy is, like narratively speaking. Like they don't bother to have their execs making these movies like read the comics, like the big important ones. They just don't do anything like that. And then they put people in charge who don't do anything like that when they just tell them, make this movie, make us money, make it all flashy and shiny and make people, and it's sad, like it's really sad. So, I think personally, like I've always, and I'm going to cop to my biases here. I've always been of the opinion that Sony needs to just give it up. They need to sell the Spider-Man characters back to Marvel for a nice chunk of change. I mean, they would make a mint off of giving, of basically selling the license back to Marvel Studios. Let the people that actually know the characters make the movies about them now. And, I mean, just find another cash cow. You're a big studio. You could do it. But in the meantime, if Morbius ends up being as bad as it feels like it's going to be, I'm probably going to start sounding the bell of give them back, give them back. They just need to give them back. And uh, I want to give them their chance, but I really feel like at this point they've had it. Um, like if you take away the Raimi trilogy, which again I attribute to Sam Raimi and not to Sony. Okay, I attribute it to Sam Raimi, who is not only a brilliant filmmaker, he made great horror films, but I mean, like the guy clearly knows and loves the Spider-Man character. All right, but I mean, like the Amazing Spider-Man, and again, an Amazing Spider-Man 2 especially. And I, again, no disrespect to Andrew Garfield or Emma Stone, they were great actors doing what they could, but those movies just did not capture the heart of Spider-Man, in my opinion. Okay. And now we've got Tom Holland in the MCU, and like those may be Sony movies, but Marvel Studios is the one doing the production. Okay. Um, they're the ones that are giving the creative input. They're the ones directing everybody or hiring the directors. this is a studio that knows what to do with these characters and likes them. So I don't think I don't think that Morbius. I'm not going to say that I don't think it's going to do well. I am going to say that I do think that right now it doesn't look good. There's, I mean, I hope I'm wrong. You know, part of me hopes I'm not. Not gonna lie, but part of me hopes that this is a good movie. I want this to be a good movie so that Spider-Man characters get good movies. That's what I want. So, okay, guys. So, anyways, I don't see much discussion going on. I just wanted to talk about this because I saw it earlier. And I am thinking about trying to do more content like this. I'm trying to do more content where I go live and I talk kind of about Spider-Man news, so to speak. Hopefully in a more kind of in a more organized and less off the cuff fashion. But let me know what you think of this particular talk, technical difficulties notwithstanding. And in the meantime, I am gonna go ahead and call the stream. So thank you guys for hanging out with me and just kind of, giving me your thoughts on Morbius and what, you know, and the kind of initial not so great buzz about it. So I'm gonna get going. You guys have a good evening. Take care, and remember, this is Spidey Librarian. And until my next live stream or upload, I'll be wishing you a good evening. Bye.